Napoleon Bonaparte took power in France in 1799, and within 10 years France was the dominant power in Europe and was looking to extend its rule to Great Britain. That conflict famously ultimately concluded in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Around 1809 to 1810, there was a relative lull in fighting between the armies, and the conflict turned to the sea. The economic stability of France and Great Britain relied on wealth from overseas possessions and foreign trade. Consequently, each country established a naval blockade of the other country's ports, intercepting and confiscating vessels and the goods they carried. The world's other great sea trading nation at this time was the United States of America. Despite diplomatic efforts between the government of the United States and the governments of both France and Great Britain, inevitably, American boats and goods were confiscated or destroyed during the blockade. American citizens lost their goods and their investments, and the American economy lost the benefit of the trade. Holland and Denmark were also caught up in the conflict. Holland was what we might call an occupied state. There was nominally a Dutch government, but its policies and key decisions were all made by France. Denmark, on the other hand, remained independent but was careful not to offend the French. For whatever reason, they participated in the blockade. After the war, an arbitrator had to determine the liability of both Holland and Denmark for harm caused to American shipping during the blockade. The commissioner said the French armies had forcibly possessed themselves beforehand of several of the Dutch fortresses. French officers of the customs occupied all the ports and outlets of the kingdom, and Napoleon, confounding apparently his purposes with their execution, had already directed his decrees to the authorities of Holland as if it was one of the departments of France. Of Denmark, however, the commissioner said, "It may be that the conduct of King Frederick was dictated by his anxiety to conciliate the favour of the French emperor. However, the act was his own. The kingdom of Denmark was then, as now, independent." As a result, France was held responsible for harm to Americans caused in Holland, but Denmark alone was responsible for harm caused within its borders. From this case, we learn that sovereignty and independence are bound up in the lawful capacity of a nation to make decisions for itself, independently.